Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Yes You Can Home Educate. I'm Jenny, mum to 6 and home educator to 5 children, and today I'm going to talk to you about how I timetable for multiple children. So let's dive straight into it. This year I have my reception age child, she's 4, who's just starting more formal lessons, so to speak. She's compulsory school age, and so we've started to follow a curriculum that is pitched at her level. I have my 9-year-old son who is in year 5, so he's doing Key Stage 2 level studies. I've got my 11-year-old who's finished Key Stage 2 and just started Key Stage 3, so that's that interim level between the primary years, and then doing studies towards GCSE exams. And then I have my 2 older children who are 14 and 16, who are at various stages of completing GCSE exams. We stagger them over a couple of years. So those are the 5 children that need to be timetabled for. So not everyone likes structure, but structure does work for us, and in a way it kind of sets us free. If we didn't do that, it would be a lot more chaotic and a lot more stressful for me personally as a parent as well. My older 2 children, I get them to timetable for themselves. They're older, they're more independent, they're old enough to do that. And then we sit down and look at it together and see that it works for them and works for the family, and that they've got breaks built in there and enough time devoted to each of their subjects. My 2 older ones are studying from course providers, so they don't need so much one-to-one from me. They just need support, me to sort of check in on them. If they come across something that's particularly tricky and they can't get hold of their tutor or can't get an answer from their tutor, then I can help them with that. So more a guide, a mentor, motivator. That's my role with them. With my younger 3, I'm much more one-to-one, directly involved in teaching them, and they need me a lot more. So that's a little bit more tricky, making sure that they're not all needing me at once, wondering what to do if I'm helping one. It has to work so that everything flows a little better. So the timetable really helps with that. One of the things that I do that helps a lot is that I utilise some video courses, and they do a couple of live Zoom sessions for a couple of topics. When one of them is doing a live course, then I can do one-to-one with the other, or just using independent work. If some of them are doing independent work, then I can work with another one. And with my littlest one, she doesn't need so much time that's timetabled in, really. She's got her lessons. They take no more than up to an hour at the most over the day, and then a lot of her learning comes through play, but we do have sort of, like I say, half an hour to an hour of just sitting down and working through her little curriculum, and we can just fit that in, and then the rest of the time I have to find various activities to keep her busy. I think the best way to explain to you and show you what we do is to look at the timetable itself. Before we do that, I will say that this is version 3. We are just about to start the 5th week of the school year, and I've had to tweak it a couple of times, but I'm happy with my timetable now. The first plan won't be perfect, and sometimes it's just trial and error, because things change year on year. As your children grow and start new things, you will have to find ways that work for your family, and sometimes it needs tweaking. And so the timetable is a tool for you to use. I think it's really important to remember to be flexible with it. Once you've written it, it's not set in stone. Don't get stressed out if it's not working. You can change it. You are the master of the timetable. It is there to facilitate things in the home and make things easier for you, not to stress you out. And I say that as much for me as I say it for you, because I do have to remind myself of that sometimes. So let's have a look at the timetable, and hopefully things will become clearer and you can gain some ideas and tips for what might work for you or what might not work for you. Both useful.
Okay, so here's the timetable. I'll try and make it make some sense. The coloured letters L, S, J are my different children. So S is my 4-year-old daughter, J is my 11-year-old daughter, and L is my 9-year-old son. All of these timings are flexible. 8:30 to 9, thereabouts, we call our morning basket time. I don't know if you may or may not have heard of morning basket time. It's something that's quite popular amongst homeschoolers, particularly in America, but it's definitely reached over these shores. And it's basically a time where you can group together, especially if you've got different ages learning different things, and you do a group activity. You can connect as a family. It might be just simply a read aloud, or you can talk about different ideas that are important in your family. It may be your faith, if that's important to you. It may be just different topics that don't really fit into a particular subject, but something interesting that you want to talk about with your children. And it's time to get all the ages together and just connect before you then start the day and do your individualized subjects or whatever's happening. So we have morning basket time. We introduced this at the end of last academic year, and we have our little basket in the corner of the room, and we have various books in there, and at the minute we are reading The Hobbit, and the kids are loving that, and that's what they want to do every morning. So we have our morning basket time. It was a really nice way to start the day. Normally we're finishing off our breakfast, having a cup of tea while it's happening, and then we get started for the day. So Monday, you can see after morning basket time, we have a highlighted Bible stories class. The highlighted sections are live Zoom classes, and we do those through the £2 tuition hub. I do discuss them in other videos. If you look at my favourite Facebook pages, I discuss the £2 tuition hub there. I will be doing videos in future about sort of specific topics and resources that we're doing at the moment, but just suffice to know, these are live Zoom classes and they last about an hour. So my younger two are doing Bible stories for an hour here in the morning, and during that time, that is a perfect time for me to sit down and do geography with my older daughter, who started Key Stage 3, and it's a more in-depth geography course that we're doing. So that allows me to do one-to-one with her, which is great. And then you can see that on the Tuesday, they have a drawing class. All three are doing a drawing class there, which is really nice. It means I can catch up with some housework, or do a bit of marking, or plan some activities for my younger daughter or whoever needs. So that gives me a little bit of flexibility too. The live classes help me a lot. LA&L is Language, Arts and Literature, and we are following an American curriculum. It's called The Good and the Beautiful, and if you're interested in that, again, I have another video on that. Just look through my videos and look for The Good and the Beautiful, and you'll find out a little bit more about that. But it's a lovely curriculum that covers, it's mainly English language, but it also covers aspects of geography, art appreciation and art. It also incorporates some independent work. They have parent-student work and then some independent work. And again, during that independent work, I'm able to then give individual one-to-one attention to my children who need it. Sometimes I may swap things around, so I'll say to one of them, if they need me in particular, if they're going through doing something that's difficult in maths, I'll say, why don't you do maths here? Like I say, it's a flexible guide for us. One of my children will do maths first, and then I'll say, whilst you're doing maths, the other one can do language arts, and we can do some one-to-one there, and or vice versa. So whilst one's doing independent work, I can help the other with whatever they need. I've put in here in pink is preschool phonics, and that's just to remind me I've got to fit in some time for my youngest and my 4-year-old, and to do our sit down time where we are learning phonics and numbers and following her curriculum, which is also The Good and the Beautiful. In addition to that, I'm using a Jolly phonics curriculum, and I speak about that as well in another video about a preschool curriculum that I'm using, and we're really loving that. I will be doing an update video on that. It's called the Phonics Handbook, and that's been really brilliant. So we do a bit of the Phonics Handbook, and we also follow The Good and the Beautiful. And when we're not doing the one-to-one with my 4-year-old, she's around, of course. I have activities set up for her. I've got into Montessori style activities. I'm definitely not purely Montessori, but I'm taking aspects from it. So independent learning activities, I'll have them out ready for her to access so that she can be busy and allow me to then give attention to my older children when they need it. It can be tricky, it can be challenging. I'm sure any of you who have younger children and older children know that the younger ones can be very demanding on your attention, and sometimes it can be tricky. But yeah, these are the things that can help. This Spanish here, I'm a Spanish speaker, so that makes things easier, but we are using something called Oak Academy. Anyone that's interested in it, there's a load of different video courses. It's free. It came about during the lockdown periods in 2020, 2021. And there's a full KS3 course in Spanish, 2 video lessons a week for 3 years. I've got my older daughter who's in Key Stage 3 doing that. And while she's doing that, I've got various different resources for my son as well. But again, the fact my older one's doing a video course then allows me to help my younger son doing one-to-one, which is great. Obviously we have inbuilt breaks. Just a reminder, it's all very flexible. And the other thing that's really helpful on this timetable is our flexi catch-up periods here, and they're very useful. We try to make time to go out, especially these 2 Wednesday and Friday afternoons, but we switch things around when we want to, and that's fine. And like I say, these flexi catch-up times are great for just fitting in anything that is needed. If my son needs a little bit more times table practice, if I need to spend a little bit more time on the one-to-one with my older daughter who's getting used to more in-depth work than the Key Stage 2 work, and she is needing that quite a lot at the moment because it's quite a jump for her since she moved to Year 7. One thing that's really good as well is the language, arts and literature curriculum also prompts them to do 20 to 30 minutes of reading. So I will try to make sure that when one of them is reading, I'll be doing one-to-one with the other. So it really is about trying to utilize those independent work times or Zoom lessons or video courses. Our science course, again, is another course that requires a short video, as is maths. This science curriculum is something called the science video courses, and you can look them up online. They have written work to do as well alongside that, and same with the maths. We use the Whiterose Maths that does that, and it has videos and worksheets. So again, it gives me that little bit of independent time when they're focused on their videos, and then I can swap about and help the other children that might need me, and so that helps quite a lot. So hopefully that's not too confusing. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense to you, just to have a look at what we do. You maybe get some ideas and do something that works for you.
If you liked this video, please give it a like and share it with those who you think might benefit. I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos, and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you can be notified each time I put out a video. Thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget, yes, you can home educate. Bye.